Yes. This style question on the New York State computer-based testing platforms, where the students are instructed to show their work and then provide the answer in some space below. We can't exactly mirror that currently in eDoctrina. You'll notice when I put this image up next to it, it's a similar image in that like the answer goes above the show your work. But that's just kind of how we have to make it in this case, and I'll show you why in this video. But let's look at how to build this question because it can be a little complicated. Let's dive in. All right, well, hello friends, Rick Bray with the Plick team at Broomtown Gabosies, and we're gonna look at rebuilding this question from the New York State CBT sampler page. Specifically, it's where students have to show their work and include an answer. So down in the timeline, you'll see I kind of break this up into some different parts based on what you need, but we'll go through the whole process of building it and why we build it a certain way we do. So let's start off by making a question, right? In eDoctrina, in order to have any of these toolbars present, we have to have the question be teacher scored. So now I'm just gonna, let me pull the question over here. I'm gonna grab the text that's there by just highlighting it. And then I'm gonna use the Control-C shortcut for copying because when I try to right click, I can't. So I'll head over here to the question and I can paste that up. Look at that, it tells me to, I'm on a Mac, so it's Command, but Control-V will allow me to paste it. Now, if you are, like a format freak like I am, maybe you want to clear the formatting so that it doesn't bring anything with it. And if I want it to match the CBT, I'm going to make this worth 2 points, which causes me to kind of slide over here and change this to a 2-point question. All right, let's go back. I need a picture now. I'm just going to use the snipping tool on my computer, whether it's a Mac, Windows, or Chromebook, to take a regional screenshot of that. And while I'm at it, I will grab this information here and I'll copy it. Now, when I'm in the text box here, I could logically think you may say like, oh, here's the picture. I'll put this picture in because I'll just click on image. And you notice it wants the URL or it wants a link to the, oh my gosh, all this stuff. So that is one way to do it, but it's reliant on the website, the picture being available on the web. So instead, I'd recommend upload an image. And now you just attach it just like it was an attachment to another question or an email. Boop, there the question is. I can click on it and grab the corner box to resize it if I want to. And then I'll go down another layer and I'll Control-V to put that second part of my answer in. So now my question is all set to go. I need to say, show your work and put the answer in degrees. Okay, now, this is gonna be a little tricky. If you've watched other videos, you know to get to the toolbars within the CBT, I need a teacher scored question, which I have, and I'm gonna click on this Online Tools button. And when I click on that, you'll notice I have a show my work area and an answer tool. You might think, how convenient. I'll just say that the answer tool is the grade 3-4 question editor because again, oops, I'm sorry, excuse me. This was a 4th grade test. And I'll say that, hey, the show your work area should also be the equation editor. I'll click save and it's all set to go. But not exactly, and here's why. If I preview that question online, notice I have an answer space here and the show your workspace down here, and that is different than this setup is. It's flipped, right? So that makes it a little complicated, but it's also, I'm not exactly sure where my answer goes, where my work goes. Is the show your work here or is the show your work here? So here's what we recommend instead, right? If I head back to eDoctrina. All right, so since that didn't work exactly the way we wanted it to look, what I'm gonna do instead is I built this kind of second question so you don't have to deal with the build process, but we're gonna look at how to build it a little bit differently to get it look like that picture we showed. First off, in my online tools, the show work area and answer tool, you can leave it for now. What we're about to do is going to change this view, but I'm just going to set the work area back to none and the answer tool back to the rich text editor, because that's how it starts by default. So I'll kind of pretend it's defaulted that way. What I'm going to do now is in my question, I'm going to go to the bottom of the question. I'm going to, just like that picture showed, I'm going to put a little space here for your answer. And I'll put a colon in, and maybe I'll boldface this, maybe make it a little bit bigger. Let's do like 16. And now I'm going to go put my cursor at the bottom and go one space down, and I'm going to use a tool in eDoctrina that's already highlighted for me, this answer tool, to put an input box where my cursor currently is down here. So I'm going to click answer tool. I can leave it as input. There's a few different options, but I'm going to go with input. I wouldn't necessarily worry about the width or the max characters. That's fine. But the placeholder, that's what's going to show up in the box for students to answer. Some people, because the sampler says answer or degrees, they might want to put degrees in there. But here's what I'm going to do instead. I'm going to say type your answer here, right? And then say okay. And if you notice, it has a little box now that says type your answer here. I can put my cursor at the end and type in the, where'd my cursor go? Type in the word degrees, just like it was on the test. Okay, great, grand, wonderful. Now I need the show your work part. So just like we did before, I'm gonna click on this online tools button at the top of the question. And notice there's no longer a answer area piece, because that's what the input box does, right? And I'm going to select the show my work area to be the 3-4 equation editor, because that's what the grade level of the question was, right? It's respective of the grade level. So I'll click save. And now when I save this and preview it online, you'll see that question 3, while it doesn't match the exact setup of the state assessment in that the answer is above the work, students could still do their work using their grade-specific toolbar, and then they would, quite honestly, type their answer in here, whatever it would be. I'm just going to say 100, even though I know that's not the right answer. Now, you may be wondering, what does this look like on the grading side of things? Well, let me flip over to a sample student response of what this would look like on the grading side. All right, so here I am as the teacher looking at a sample student's response, and I have everything queued up on my teacher dashboard. I have the students that I want to look at, the specific assessment. You may think to hit the grade assessment. That totally makes sense, but when I look at that, I don't easily see what the students scored. I have to do a little bit of work. So for this particular style, I prefer to use the check student answers, and it's going to give me that pop-up screen regarding the color. That's great. I already have a grade in there. What do you know? But we'll pretend it wasn't there. That's because I just looked ahead. But if you want to see student responses, what you can do is instead of, if I just click in the box, I can set how many points this is worth, right? So we'll pretend it's worth nothing. And that's true for all of these. I can set how many points they're worth out of 2. The difference is if I specifically click in the corner there where the black triangle is, you'll notice my cursor doesn't change. But when I click on it, I get a totally different view. This lets me see what the question was, right? I can see the whole body of the question. And I can see here is where the student's answer. So the student typed in 37. And here was the work showing it. The reason I like setting it up this way is, again, it's just backwards. But as far as grading these go at a state level, the important piece is the work that they show compared to just the answer. So in this view, I'm able to see both what they typed in and what they worked on. And now from here to score it, I can just say, okay, this got all 2 points. I could also just write 2 points in there. I could give some feedback to the student if I want it. That's a nice feature. But honestly, here's what I really love. I could just go to another question for this student, or if I was grading multiple students at once, I can use these up and down arrows here to look at the same question, but for the previous or the next student in line. So that allows me to grade that one question for all my students, just bang, 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 bang. Or I can use these arrows to stay within the same student and look at question 2 and look at question 1. So again, just another different feature of how to grade this. But the way that we made this all happen was that we use the input tool right here to create the answer space. And then we allowed with online tools to have our students have the appropriate grade-based math tools in the show your work area. And then we saw how it was graded, and the best way I would recommend to look at it is using the check student answer window so that you get this view where you can see their work. So there you have it. I know this video was a little bit longer, a little bit more complicated, but I hope that you found it beneficial to your use in setting up these mirrored CBT questions. If you did find this video useful, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, and you're more than welcome to subscribe to this channel to get updates and notifications when new content like this video is posted. As always, thanks for watching.